Thanks to the almighty power of the internet, I've been able to download the first ever issue of Captain America for about $2. Captain America issue number 1 came out in 1941, right in the middle of World War II. So naturally we'd expect it to reflect the values, the fears of the American society in 1941, in the midst of World War II. So let's have a read through it. I'll do the voices and we'll read through this first section of this comic, and we'll have a look at what values are represented, and particularly we'll be looking for what does this say about nuclear power. Now I'll point out that it never actually mentions nuclear power, however I'll explain a representation at the end that will help to give it some context. Here we go, page 1 of Captain America. USA, 1941. As the ruthless warmongers of Europe focus their eyes on a peace-loving America, the youth of our country heed the call to arm for defense. But great as the danger of foreign attack is the threat of invasion from within, the dreaded Fifth Column. It was easy joining the army with the forged papers. Now to carry out the Führer's plans. Ja, everything is in readiness. The resulting wave of sabotage and treason paralyzes the vital defense industries. While in Washington, but I tell you, Mr. President, there's no stopping these vermin. They're so firmly entrenched in our ranks that I hesitate to give a confidential report to even my most trusted aide. An army spotted with spies. It's useless. What would you suggest, gentlemen? A character out of the comic books? Perhaps the Human Torch in the army would solve our problem. But seriously, gentlemen, something is being done. I neglected to tell you because, well, I wasn't sure. But now, please, send in Mr. Grover. Gentlemen, may I introduce J. Arthur Grover, head of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, who has a plan that may interest you. At the FBI chief's request, the army men disguise themselves in civilian clothes and follow him through a secret door to a waiting car. We're just cautious, gentlemen. This plan must be protected by the utmost secrecy. They're driven to a shabby tenement district and pull up at a sinister-looking curio shop. This shop is merely a blind behind which our secret is being perfected. The door slowly opens, and a gnarled, bony hand reaches for a waiting automatic, then, recognizing the visitors, replaces the firearm. Nothing to worry about. These men are high-ranking army officials. I'm glad to see you, sir. I think you won't be disappointed this time. The formula has been found. They are waiting for you now. The officials follow the old shopkeeper up a musty stairway, through a maze of decrepit rooms, and stop at a heavily barred door, which opens at a whispered command. Mr. Grover, we were hoping you'd come. The astonished men enter to find a surprisingly modern laboratory. The army officials gasp in startled amazement as the wrinkled old shopkeeper sheds her wizened features to become an astoundingly beautiful young woman. The young lady behind the rubber mask is X-13, one of our most trusted agents. Grover and his pretty agent silently motion the army men to seats in a small observation room, as the scientists reveal the fruit of their experiment. A side door opens, and a frail young man steps into the laboratory. Don't be afraid, son. You are about to become one of America's saviors. Calmly, the young man allows himself to be inoculated with the strange, seething liquid. There, it is done. Now, to watch the reaction. Observe this young man closely. Today he volunteered for army service and was refused because of his unfit condition. His chance to serve his country seemed gone. Little does he realize that the serum coursing through his blood is rapidly building his body and brain tissues, until his stature and intelligence increase to an amazing degree. The people in the observation room gape in wonder at the scene before them. Why, look! He's changing! It works! It works! It is working! There's power surging through those growing muscles. Millions of cells forming at incredible speed. Behold, the crowning achievement of all my years of hard work. The first of a corps of super agents whose mental and physical ability will make them a terror to spies and saboteurs. We shall call you Captain America, son, because, like you, America shall gain the strength and the will to safeguard our shores. But the hand of democracy's enemy reaches deep into the ranks of America's high officials. One of the army men witnessing the demonstration is in the pay of Hitler's Gestapo. I'm afraid this is one experiment that must never reach its final test. Death to the dogs of democracy! Ugh! Professor Reinstein! What? Bam! The spy's muffled gun speaks again before the group can recover from its surprise. The vial containing the valuable serum shatters into 1,000 pieces. Crash! His treachery discovered, the spy turns his fire on the infuriated group in the observation room. Look out, Mr. Grover! Suddenly, the enemy agent's eyes widen in horror as a terrible vengeance in the form of Captain America leaps towards him. Come on out, you skunk! Sock! Wham! Half crazed with fear and pain, the spy stumbles into the laboratory equipment in a frantic effort to escape the terrific beating. He becomes enmeshed in powerful coils of wire which, like bands of death, cause 1,000,000 volts of electricity to burn out his life. Nothing left of him but charred ashes, a fate he well deserved. Who is Captain America? A whole nation thrills to his daring exploits. His name becomes a symbol of courage to millions of Americans and a byword of terror in the shadow world of spies. Well, I hope you enjoyed my theatrical rendition of issue 1 of Captain America. I've taken us back to the first page now. So what I want to point out is that if you continue reading the comic, we discover that what creates Captain America are V-rays. And I think that V-rays sound like a thinly veiled reference to nuclear technology, X-rays and the like, gamma rays. So we can see that the technology used to create Captain America, we can think of as a representation of nuclear technology. And that puts the idea of this super soldier, this weapon for America, in a different light. So on the front cover here, we can really be thinking of how is nuclear technology or nuclear weaponry in the form of Captain America represented. And I'll leave that for you to go through, think about the color, the framing, the positioning of the character, how he's drawn, what he's doing, how he talks. I'll leave that up to you to sort through and analyze. Good luck.